Hey guys, welcome to this free online training on how to become a lifestyle entrepreneur. In this video, I want to teach you the exact 7-step system that I taught my 13-year-old daughter Leah that pays for her trips away, and indeed the idiosyncrasies and indulgences of a 13-year-old daughter. In the picture, you will see myself and Leah. Leah is a beautiful 13-year-old girl. And this picture was actually taken at a wedding that we went to last year. One of the things that I really like about this picture is that Leah is wearing a dress, a floral dress at that. And if you know Leah, Leah doesn't do dresses at all. You'll normally find her in Converse trainers, tight jeans, and a hooded top. That's how she rolls. That's her uniform or her dress code. So that picture is really special to me because she's wearing a dress, and that's probably why she looks slightly uncomfortable, because she said she doesn't want to be captured in a dress. So there you have it for posterity, Leah Tomlin in a dress. Now just below the picture is her book, which is the output or the product that came out of this 7-step system. And it's a great little story about when Maddie's evil family pet Conga turns her into a cat, and she's thrown out by her own brother and left to forage for herself. And all of this happens because she hates cats. So it's a brilliant little story. I don't want to give you any more than that because, of course, I want you to go out and get the story. Because Leah would kill me if she knew I was telling you all of this about the story. Okay, so who am I and why should you bother to listen to me? Well, my name is Colin Tomlin. I'm the publisher of EG Magazine and the author of the Grow How Experience. And as I said at the start of the video, I want to teach you how to become a lifestyle entrepreneur, just like I did for my 13-year-old daughter. And why should you listen to me? Well, I was made redundant 15 years ago from the UK's largest financial services company, fell in love with being an entrepreneur, and I have never looked back. Since then, I've trained and spoken to thousands across the world, creating an online magazine read by over 9,500 people, as well as released my best-selling book. And I do all of this, or I did all of this, for one reason and one reason only. I really want to help you to discover, define, and deliver your big ideas. You will see copies of the book there. It's called the Grow How Experience, and it's really a journey to discover, define, and deliver your big ideas. The magazine itself is a great online magazine that you can get on any mobile device or any device, whether it be a laptop or your Android phone, your Apple phone, or indeed any tablet. And it's really great stories about entrepreneurs' tales, tools and tips, just to really expose you to a world of entrepreneurs. And if you actually stay until the end of this training, I'll make sure that you actually get not just the book, but also the first issue of the magazine. So what's actually covered in this training? Well, we're going to cover the 7 steps, and as you can see there, the 7 steps really are about asking a couple of questions and getting the answers. So the first step is really a question of why. Step 2 is where we talk about who and the resulting picture. Step 3 talks about what, which is where we start talking about your product. Step 4 talks about how, your path or your business model. Step 5, a question of when, and it talks about your process. How does everything hang together? Step 6 is where we talk about people, and step 7 is where we talk about, okay, how do you put your plan together? And okay, so the first thing really is let's just go back a bit and talk about what an entrepreneur is really about. Now, one of our favorite entrepreneurs is Sir Richard Branson, because for us, he and you know, certainly for myself and the team, he encapsulates what being an entrepreneur is about. And, you know, in his own words, for a successful entrepreneur, it can mean extreme wealth, but with extreme wealth comes extreme responsibility. And the responsibility for me is to invest in creating new businesses, create jobs, employ people, and to put money aside to tackle issues where we can make a difference. And the crux of all that is in the last three words. It's all about making a difference in whatever sphere or whatever arena or whatever area that you choose to operate in. And the question really I want you to be asking yourself right now is, how do I want to make a difference? And you know, we believe making a difference is really about three things. The first is to identify a problem or a pain that exists somewhere in society or in the world around you, or in your world rather. And there are so many causes you can choose from. And the second thing is about how you're going to solve that problem or limit that pain for the people in your world. And those two things is what creates a better future for the people in your world, a better future for you. And this is really, for us, the crux of what it means to be an entrepreneur. Now, I talked earlier about EG Magazine, and we love this guy, Richard Branson, so much that he was the cover story of the first issue of our magazine. So after the training, as I said, I'm going to ensure that you get sent a copy of this magazine so that you can be immersed into a whole world of entrepreneurs' tales, tools and tips to help you along the journey. Anyway, back to Leah and how we taught her how to become an entrepreneur. But first, let me give you a little bit of a context and a backdrop as to how this thing came about. Here's another picture of myself and her. In fact, in this picture, we had just come back from doing, for her, the dreaded boy talk, because at that time she was just starting high school, and I remembering what I was like at high school, I thought it was necessary just to kind of share some thoughts in terms of, you know, this is what high school is about, and this is how high school boys think. And I think it shocked her so much, and you know, I don't know if that smile afterwards is a nervous smile, a scared smile, or a smile just, you know, of relief that the talk's over. But to be honest, to start with, we both were a little bit nervous, but towards the end we were okay. But let's talk about how or the scenario, the context, or the backdrop rather, on how she became an entrepreneur. Now, recently she decided she wanted to go to a summer event that was put on by our local church, and she said she needed £300 to take herself and her friend, who she wanted to go with her, to this 3-day event. And she basically said, you know, came up to me and said, "Can I have £300, please?" Now, not one to miss an opportunity, myself and Judy thought it was the perfect opportunity to teach her how to create what she wanted rather than just wait to be given stuff. So I said to her, absolutely you can go, absolutely you can take your friend, absolutely you can have £300, but we're going to provide you that £300 in a slightly different way. What we'll do is we'll provide you with copies of your book that you can sell at £10 a piece. So if we provide you with 30 copies of your book times the £10 a piece, that will equate to your £300. And what we will do, i.e. Judy and I, is we will pay for the 30 books so that they can arrive from the wholesaler, and then you can start the process of selling those books. Now, the 7 steps actually came out of this process, and I want to share that with you now. So before I do that, though, I want to share, or I want to just ask you a question. You know, where exactly are you? Are you a little bit, you know, perplexed or unsure or unclear of your future? Are you thinking about what you want to do next? In fact, are you someone who's working in a corporate environment, whether it be as a lawyer or a project manager, someone within a corporate field who is doing really well in financial terms, but you're thinking, I don't really believe this is what I'm wired to do, because this thing that I'm doing, as rewarding as it is on a financial level, it is really soul destroying for me. Um, if that's you, I really want to just say a couple of things to you. Number one, your life has purpose. Number two, your story is important and your dreams do count. Your voice certainly matters. And number three, you were born to make an impact. And I already suspect that you want to be and do much more than you are right now. And I want to help you to do exactly that. So the first thing is really about starting with purpose. And this is where we ask the question of why. Now, Leah had a reason. She really wanted to go to this event, and there was a strong desire, and that's what fueled everything. And the first thing I really want to ask you is, what is your purpose? What is your why? Simon Sinek wrote this great book, which is Start With Why. What is your why as to why you want to be a lifestyle entrepreneur? Why you have this big idea? Why you want to do the thing that's burning inside of your heart and rattling around in your head? Steve Jobs, the late Apple founder, was asked exactly this question. Why do you want to start Apple? And his answer was this: we started out to get a computer in the hands of everyday people. So his purpose was about getting a computer in the hands of everyday people. And of course, to his surprise, they succeeded beyond their wildest dreams. Now, every success you will have in life, in business, as an entrepreneur, will rest on this simple question: why am I doing what I'm doing? So the first step is starting with why. The second step is about a question of who. It's about painting a picture. It's about having this very compelling picture that you're heading towards and that you're trying to create. And for Leah, she had a very compelling picture because she was going to have time away with her mates in a great hotel at a great event for 3 days. She wouldn't have either myself or Judy saying to her, you need to tidy your room, or you need to come downstairs and finish your chores or pack away the dishes. So for her, it was heaven. She was going to have this great time away, and for her, it was a very compelling picture. Richard Branson, the Virgin founder, or Virgin Group chairman, he had a compelling picture, and his compelling picture was he wasn't satisfied with the way others were doing business and treating customers. So if you study the Virgin Empire or the Virgin brand businesses carefully, you will see that every single one of the businesses that he goes into, or every single one of the industries he goes into, one of his key motivating factors is getting a better deal for the consumers. Whether it is Virgin Atlantic, and how they were pitted against BA, or Virgin Cola, or Virgin Brides, or whatever he did, Virgin Mobile, it's really about getting a better deal for the customer. So step 2 is about painting a picture. And my second question to you is, what exactly is your picture? What's that compelling picture that you're carrying, and what does it look like? Step 3 is you've got to package a product, because of course nobody buys ideas, nobody buys purpose, nobody buys pictures in that sense. They buy a product, and your product really is the tangible representation of your purpose, your picture, and another very, very important thing, your passion. You see, Leah was able to create this great product, this book, because she has a passion for writing, and her product was captured, her passion rather, was captured in that product, her book. So my question to you is, what is your product? What is the intersection of your purpose, your picture, and your passion? What does that thing look like? What are you going to actually serve to your constituents or your target audience or your market? So step 3, package a product. The question is, what is your product? Now step 4 is where you pick a path, and this is where we answer the question of how. Now, Leah had a strategy and a business model which was a very simple one. What she would do was she would add value to each book by us paying for it wholesale, us being Judy and myself, and Leah autographing it, which is the way she would create the value, and then distributing it to the intended person or the customer. And the question that I want to ask you is, what's your path? How do you see this big idea actually panning out? What strategy will you use, and what business model will make the thing work? You know, in Sam Walton's case, who was the founder of Walmart, their strategy and their business model is very simple. It's all about buying goods at a very low price and passing that low price on to their customer. So Walmart and Asda, their UK counterpart, or the UK arm of the business, is all about selling goods at a low price. So the question is, what's your business model? What's your path? And of course, the next step, step 5, is about building a process. How are you going to hang all of these things together? And this is where we ask the question of when. And in Leah's case, she had not just a process, but she had a team. And that was a very, very important component. You know, myself and Judy provided the funding. She had a supply chain where we used CreateSpace to actually produce her books. So we would make the order. Myself and Judy would pay for the order. CreateSpace would send the number of books that we ordered to Leah. Leah would then have a value creation process, which is essentially where she signed the book and you know, actually dedicated it to whoever it was going and wrote this really lovely message and signed it. She had a sales and marketing and distribution process, and in fact her grandmother was a huge advocate in all of this, because what she was able to do was she performed the role of sales, marketing and distribution director. In other words, she went out there and got her friends to buy books for their grandchildren, and also did lots of PR. You know, Leah would send the book to her grandmother, and her grandmother would get the book to her friends, and that's how they basically created this process, and it worked very, very well. So my question to you is, what's your process? How does everything hang together? How do you go from having the idea? How do you add value at each stage of the process? And then how do you get that finished product into the hands of your customers? Step 6 is all about persuading people. You know, I know so many people who have great products, but they're some of the greatest products that no one has heard about, because they don't go out there and do one of the most important things in business, which is to sell. And you know, persuading people is all about selling. You know, Leah had a target market and a profile, but she had to go out there to sell it. And you know, she was helped really, really well, really admirably by her grandmother, who just went out there and sold and got the books into the hands of people. And in fact, one of the things that really captures what it means to sell in graphic detail for me is a scene in The Wolf of Wall Street, which is a great film. You should go out and see it, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. And you know, Leonardo DiCaprio is running a seminar of some sort, and he has a pen in his hand, and he takes this pen out and he goes to the guys in the front row and he says, "Sell me this pen." And each one would take the pen and they would say, "Oh, you know, the pen, you know, it writes beautifully. The way the way you hold the pen, you know, makes it comfortable." And each time he would take the pen and just move on to the next guy, because what they were doing was describing the features rather than selling the pen. And there was another scene where he did exactly the same thing, and he said to someone, "Sell me this pen." And what the guy did was he took the pen from him, and then he said to the Leonardo DiCaprio character, "Write this down for me." At which point the Leonardo DiCaprio character said, "I don't have a pen." And the guy said, "Okay, I can sell you one." And that's essentially what sales is all about. It's about meeting customer demand. It's about understanding customer needs. And in fact, there's a course we do, which is the Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Grow House System, where we go into this in a lot more detail, where we talk about understanding your target audience's, fears and dreams. Because if you understand their top 5 fears and their top 5 dreams, then whatever you offer to them is essentially going to be either limiting that fear or helping to do away with that fear, or helping them to achieve that dream. So that's one of the processes that we take you through in terms of creating a profile of your customer, understanding exactly what their dreams and desires and their fears and needs are, so you can create a product targeted specifically for them. And then, of course, the final step is where you prepare the plan. This is where you ask the question of where to now. Where do I go from here? And this 7 steps, this system that we taught Leah, she learned how to create anything she desired, and she pulled all of the components together in a plan and with our help. And my final question to you is, what's your plan? And I want to leave you with a quote, which is, taking massive action reinforces that you can do this. There are many things that I didn't think I was able to do, but when I started by taking action and moving towards them, before long I was doing this thing, and this apprehension and this obstacle-like thought that I had in my mind was dissipated simply by taking action. And if you've got an idea, a big idea, if there's something rattling around in your brain and rolling around in your heart that you really, really want to do, my encouragement to you is just step out and do it. Because if you step out and do it, you'll realize that this thing that you've put on the back burner is not necessarily or not nearly as difficult as you thought it was. And we certainly want to help you with the Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Grow House System. It's simply a system that takes the 7 steps that I've just showed you and goes into so much more detail. And at the end of it, we will show you 7 proven steps to kickstart your big ideas, so that you can start this process of becoming an entrepreneur and creating the life and the dreams and having those dreams and desires that you've held in your heart and your mind for such a long time. Now, at the start, I promised you that we will give you some free gifts, and we're going to do that now. In fact, I will send that to you as soon as you finish watching the training, or you can get it as a result of the PDF, or by clicking on the PDF that I'm going to send to you at the end of this training as well. But I want to leave you with a quote by Peter Drucker, the great management guru. And he says, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." I couldn't agree more, because Leah was able to create the future she wanted simply because she wanted it badly enough. And you're no different to my 13-year-old daughter. You can create this life, you can create this future that you desire if you want it badly enough. And we would love to help you on that journey. So take the next step with us and start this process of creating that incredible future that you've got in your heart and your mind. Until then, live your passion, love your purpose, and let your product change the world. Take care, God bless, and I look forward to speaking to you very, very soon.